On June 10th of this year, the 18th Conference of States Parties to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, otherwise known as the CRPD, convened at UN headquarters in New York. One of the final items on the first morning of the proceedings was a decision announced in the General Assembly by the President of the conference that the applications of 10 non-governmental organizations had been approved and would become accredited members moving forward. Connect for Life was one of those organizations listed and is now an accredited member NGO of the UN's Conference of States Parties to the CRPD. In this episode, Connect for Life's CEO, Melanie Taddeo, explains what this means and why it's a significant step forward, as well as how the broader Connect for Life community can contribute to the growing global dialogue around disability, accessibility, and meaningful participation in all aspects of society and the economy.
Welcome to another episode of Connect for Life, the podcast. We have big news here at Connect for Life that we're just dying to share with you. The United Nations Convention for Rights of People with Disabilities, also known as the UN CRPD, held its 18th session this past week from June 10th through the 12th in New York City. This is an opportunity for change makers around the globe, really working towards inclusion for people with disabilities and fighting for the rights, came together for their annual convention. This was an opportunity for them to network, to share ideas, and to work towards the common goal of inclusion for all. This was the first one that Connect for Life had attended, and it was a special one for us as we had applied to be an accredited NGO or non-governmental organization as a member of the UN CRPD. So we sat there listening to the General Assembly, and it was really quite something because we actually were watching it in our broadcast training class, and everybody was there watching. It was a very official affair, and it was wonderful to see how it was structured. And again, this is something that many people save up for the whole year so they can come and be a part of something incredible. As it went underway, we were accepted as a accredited organization. So what does this mean for Connect for Life? This means that we get to participate at future UN CRPD conventions. So next year in New York, we can go. We can also have a say on things happening on global stage, policy development, sharing our experience and expertise with other groups, and becoming more involved in helping make change not only for ourselves, but individuals with disabilities across the globe, sharing our insights and thoughts and working collaboratively towards solutions. This year's conference was really great. They had a series of side events, and what those are different 1 to 1.5 hour sessions held by different countries on so many various topics. Some of the ones that I attended were AI and disability and the impact we have to have about making sure that AI is considering people with disabilities from the creation stage. That was put on by Finland and the northern region. I also attended one on financing put on by Philippines and the UN Women's Organization. It was really interesting to see all of these different perspectives. There were so many more. The list was endless. In fact, there was back-to-back opportunities for people to connect virtually as well as in person. There was things going on all from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, full days. And of course, there were policy developments happening. One thing that I found very interesting for us to really be mindful of is even the United Nations has challenges. What do I mean by that? It was brought up several times within the General Assembly and through some of the other side events that even the United Nations committees don't have funding to hire translators for American Sign Language or International Sign Language. And this can be challenging because they want to be inclusive for everybody. So this is something that everybody was brought aware of and how we have to consider what we do in all areas, that it's not just funding in certain areas, it's funding across the globe that is a challenge. I also found very interesting, and I knew this already, that the challenges that we face here in Canada are also faced across the globe as individuals with disabilities. But then, of course, other countries that perhaps are not as developed also face additional challenges. At the AI side event, they were talking, or somebody from Kenya that was speaking, that, okay, this is really important for us to understand AI and the importance of getting in at the beginning stages as individuals with disabilities to make sure it's accessible and inclusive. But what about those of us that don't have access to smartphones, let alone internet signal? This really made me pause and ponder. We do live a privileged life here in North America where we have access to phones and internet widely. Perhaps we're struggling in other areas too, but some countries really have less than we have. And we have to think of this when we're doing these side workshops. We have to have solutions in all of our presentations that incorporate everybody. I think perhaps as we have branched into South Africa, we're a little bit more aware of the lack of resources for people with disabilities in third world countries or developing countries. But one thing is for sure, it was a great honor and privilege to be accepted as an accredited NGO at the United Nations Convention for the Rights for Persons with Disabilities. But it also showed and highlighted there's so much work to be done. And now we're very excited as Connect for Life to be able to move forward and participate fully and hopefully engage with other opportunities throughout the year. There are other events coming up this year. And if you're unsure of any of this, and this is new to you, I encourage you to check out United Nations Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, what it actually all entails, and also the other events that it has throughout the year. You don't necessarily have to be a member organization to get involved, to be aware. Do your research, and definitely let's stay connected so you can find it as we can carry on our new journey, what we're doing and how we're learning as well. Until next time.
You have been listening to Connect for Life, the podcast. Connect for Life is a Canadian-based registered charity committed to eliminating barriers for people with disabilities. Visit connectforlife.ca and join us in helping people with disabilities become the champions of their growth stories.